I never imagined my engagement party would end with me hiding behind the rose bushes, watching my sister kiss my fiancé. The thorns dug into my palms as I gripped the branches, but the physical pain barely registered against the crushing weight in my chest. My name is Talia, and 10 minutes ago, I was the happiest woman alive. Now I'm wondering if I ever really knew my family at all. The fairy lights strung across our backyard cast everything in a dreamy glow. Crystal champagne glasses clinked. Laughter drifted from the patio, where our closest friends and family celebrated. Ryan had proposed exactly how I'd always dreamed, down on one knee in front of everyone, declaring his love with that boyish smile that first made me fall for him 3 years ago. I'd only stepped away to get better phone reception, wanting to share the news with my best friend, who couldn't make it tonight. That's when I saw them. "We can't keep doing this," Megan whispered, her fingers tangled in Ryan's hair. "Not now that you're engaged to her. I don't want to marry her." Ryan's voice was low, urgent. "I never did. You know that." The phone slipped from my hand, cracking against the stone path. They jumped apart like guilty teenagers, finally noticing me standing there. Megan's face drained of color. Ryan just looked relieved. "Talia." Megan reached toward me, but I stepped back. "How long?" The question came out surprisingly steady. 6 months, Ryan answered. No hesitation, no shame. "I tried to end things with you, but your family—" "Our family," I corrected automatically, though the words felt hollow now. "She's my sister." "I'm so sorry," Megan's voice cracked. "We never meant—" "To what? To hurt me? To humiliate me in front of everyone we know?" I gestured toward the party, where our mother was probably already wondering where the happy couple had disappeared to. "Were you planning to wait until after the wedding, or just keep fucking my husband behind my back?" They both flinched at my crude language. "Good. Let them feel uncomfortable." "I love her," Ryan said simply, as if that explained everything. As if love justified betrayal. Footsteps crunched on gravel. My father appeared around the corner, his face flushed from champagne and joy. He froze, taking in the scene. Me, trembling with rage. Megan and Ryan, standing too close together. "What's going on out here? Ask your precious younger daughter," I spat. "Ask her how long she's been sleeping with my fiancé." "Talia," Megan gasped, scandalized that I would say it so bluntly. Dad's expression shifted from confusion to denial to something worse. Resignation. He wasn't surprised. He knew. "How long have you known?" I demanded. "Sweetheart, it's complicated." "How long?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. "A few weeks. Your mother and I thought, we hoped they would end it, that Ryan would commit to you properly once you were engaged." The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. My own parents had conspired to let me marry a man they knew was in love with my sister. "We were trying to protect you," Dad said weakly. "Protect me?" I laughed, the sound sharp and foreign to my own ears. "By letting me make a fool of myself. By watching me plan a wedding to a man who's been fucking my sister for months." "Language," he corrected automatically. "Go to hell." I yanked the ring off my finger and threw it at Ryan's feet. "All of you." I turned and walked away, ignoring their calls. Behind me, the party continued. Oblivious, music played. People laughed. My mother's voice rose above the rest, probably wondering where her daughters had gone. Let them explain it. Let them deal with the fallout. I was done. I got in my car and drove, with no destination in mind, except away. Away from the lies. Away from the betrayal. Away from the family I thought I knew. They would regret this, all of them. I would make sure of it. 3 days after my world imploded, I returned home to pack my things. The house was quiet, too quiet, until I heard laughter drifting from the kitchen. My mother's voice, warm and affectionate, followed by Megan's familiar giggle. I froze in the hallway, my hand gripping the banister. The caterer's already been paid, so we might as well use the reservation. Mom was saying, "We can turn it into an engagement party for you and Ryan instead." The coffee mug in my other hand nearly slipped. They were planning to use my wedding arrangements for them. I don't know, Megan replied, her voice carrying that false modesty she'd perfected since childhood. Wouldn't that be inappropriate? Nonsense. No sense letting good plans go to waste. I rounded the corner, making both of them jump. Mom's smile faltered for just a moment before brightening artificially. Sweetheart, we've been trying to reach you. Clearly not trying very hard. I moved to the coffee maker, keeping my back to them. Since you're already planning to repurpose my wedding. Now, Talia, Mom's voice took on that placating tone she used when I was being difficult. We need to be practical about this. The deposits I paid for with my money. Silence filled the kitchen. I turned, facing them both. Megan sat at the counter, wearing one of Ryan's old college sweatshirts. My stomach lurched. You're right, Megan said softly. We shouldn't. Don't. I cut her off. Don't pretend you care about what's right. The back door opened, and Aunt Susan swept in, arms full of grocery bags. She barely glanced at me. Oh good, you're here. We need to discuss the guest list changes. Of course. The whole family was already rallying around the happy couple. There won't be any changes, I said, because there won't be a wedding. Don't be dramatic, Susan sighed. The vendors are all booked. People have made travel arrangements. Then they can watch Megan marry my leftovers somewhere else. That's enough, Mom slammed her hand on the counter. I know you're hurt, but this hostile attitude isn't helping anyone. Ryan and Megan love each other. The sooner you accept that, the sooner what? We can all pretend to be one big happy family again. I laughed bitterly. How long have you all known? How many family dinners did we sit through while everyone played along with the charade? No one answered. Their silence told me everything. Talia, please. Megan stood, reaching for me. We never meant for any of this to happen. It just did. Things just happened. Like you just happened to sleep with my fiancé? Like you just happened to let me plan a wedding while screwing him behind my back? Language, Mom snapped. Oh, I'm sorry. Is my vocabulary making you more uncomfortable than my sister fucking my fiancé? Susan gasped. Megan's eyes filled with tears. Mom looked like she might faint. I think you should leave, Susan said coldly, until you can discuss this rationally. Rationally, I grabbed my engagement photo off the wall and slammed it face down on the counter. The glass cracked. Is this rational enough for you? Or should I smile and congratulate them like a good sister? Your sister is happy, Mom pleaded. Can't that be enough? The words hit me like a physical blow. My happiness had always been secondary to Megan's. I'd just never seen it so clearly before. You're right, I said quietly. Megan's happiness is all that matters. It always has been. I headed for the stairs, their voices following me. Where are you going? To pack. I'm moving out. Don't be ridiculous, Mom called after me. This is your home. I paused on the steps, looking back at them. My mother's worried face, Susan's disapproval, Megan's guilty tears. They were already a united front against me. No, I said. This stopped being my home the moment you chose her happiness over my dignity. Enjoy the wedding. I'm sure it'll be beautiful. I climbed the stairs, their whispered conversations resuming behind me. Let them talk. Let them plan their perfect celebration of betrayal. They thought this was the end, that I would fade away and let them have their happiness. But this was just the beginning. I had nothing left to lose. And that made me dangerous. The email arrived at 3 a.m. from an anonymous account. My finger hovered over delete, but the subject line stopped me. Ryan's business financials, things you should know. Inside was a spreadsheet detailing transactions between Ryan's company and my family's accounts. Large sums moving back and forth, disguised as consulting fees. The dates caught my eye. They started 6 months ago, right when his affair with Megan began. I printed everything, spreading the papers across my apartment floor. The numbers didn't lie. Ryan and Megan had been bleeding my parents dry while playing happy couples. My phone buzzed. Emily, have you seen the wedding invitation? Her voice was tight, controlled. They're using your original date. I gripped the phone harder. Why are you telling me this? Because, she hesitated. There are things you should know about Ryan, about the business. I'm looking at the financials right now. Silence stretched between us. Then, meet me at Carlo's, 1 hour. Emily sat in the furthest booth, shoulders hunched over an untouched coffee. She looked smaller somehow, more fragile than the confident aunt I remembered. Ryan approached me first, she said without preamble. Before Megan, before you. The waitress appeared. I ordered coffee, black. Buying time to process Emily's words. What do you mean, approached you? He needed investors, said he had this brilliant business plan, but the banks wouldn't touch it. Emily's fingers traced the coffee cup's rim. He was very convincing, very attentive. Understanding dawned. You gave him money. Everything from James's life insurance. Her husband's name caught in her throat. He promised to double it within a year. Then he met you, and suddenly, she shrugged, the gesture eloquent in its defeat. And Megan figured out what he was doing, threatened to expose him, unless... Emily's laugh was bitter. Well, you know how that ended. The waitress returned with my coffee. I waited until she left, before asking, does Susan know? Susan's been helping them cover it up. She's been funneling money from the family trust. Money that should have gone to you and Megan equally. My hands shook as I lifted the cup. Why tell me now? Because they're getting bolder. The wedding, the business expansion plans. It's all built on lies. Emily finally met my eyes. And because I saw how they looked at each other at the engagement party. Not like people in love, like conspirators. You could have warned me before. I was afraid. The words burst out. Ryan. He knows things. About James's death. Things that could hurt me. Ice spread through my veins. What things? Emily stood abruptly. I've said too much. Just be careful. They're not what they seem. She hurried out, leaving cash for her untouched coffee. I sat there, mind racing. The financials, Emily's confession, James's suspicious death 2 years ago. Pieces of a puzzle I hadn't known I was solving. My phone buzzed again. A text from Megan. Family dinner tonight. Mom insists you come. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. I stared at the message, seeing it with new eyes. Every family gathering, every forced reconciliation attempt, they weren't about healing. They were about control. Keeping me close, keeping me quiet. Another text followed. Ryan's announcing the business expansion. It would mean a lot to have you there, of course. They needed to maintain the illusion of family unity. Needed witnesses to their success story. I typed back, wouldn't miss it. They thought they had me figured out. The bitter ex-fiancé, the jealous sister, too emotional to be taken seriously. They never imagined I'd be methodically gathering evidence, building a case that would destroy them both. Emily's warning echoed in my head. Be careful, they're not what they seem. But neither was I. Not anymore. I gathered the financial documents, adding them to my growing file. Tonight, I'd play my role. The wounded sister, trying to make peace. I'd watch them bask in their supposed triumph, knowing what was coming. Because revenge isn't served hot or cold. It's served methodically, precisely, with a smile that never reaches your eyes. And I was just getting started. Marcus Chen's business card sat on my desk like a loaded gun. As Ryan's former partner, he knew exactly how deep the financial deception went. Getting him to talk had taken weeks of careful preparation. But now, they're planning to go public, he said, voice crackling through my phone's speaker. Using your family's money to inflate their numbers. I traced the edge of the financial documents Emily had provided. How much time? 3 months, maybe less. Ryan's already courting major investors. A pause. He's good at making people believe what he wants them to believe. Didn't I know it? Send me everything you have, I said. Bank statements, investor meetings, everything. Already did. Check your encrypted email. Marcus hesitated. Be careful, Talia. Ryan. He gets dangerous when backed into a corner. The warning stayed with me as I drove to my parents' house that evening. Family dinner. Another performance in our ongoing charade of reconciliation. Ryan's Tesla sat in the driveway gleaming like a trophy. Through the window, I could see them all gathered in the living room. The perfect family tableau. Megan perched on the arm of Ryan's chair, his hand possessively on her waist. Mom arranging appetizers, while Dad mixed drinks. Aunt Susan holding court from her usual spot. Emily hovering nearby like a shadow. I adjusted my blazer, feeling the USB drive in my pocket. Amazing how something so small could destroy so much. There she is. Mom's forced brightness filled the room. We were just discussing the business expansion. Were you? I accepted a glass of wine, noting how Ryan's eyes tracked my movements. How exciting. We're bringing in new investors, Ryan said smoothly. Going public by year's end. Fascinating. I sipped my wine. Must be expensive, launching something that big. A flicker of tension crossed his face. We've had tremendous support from the family. Of course you have. I smiled at Susan, who shifted uncomfortably. Family's everything, right? Megan touched Ryan's shoulder. A warning gesture he shrugged off. Actually, Talia, I've been meaning to discuss something with you. Your share of the trust fund. Isn't that Susan's department? I interrupted, watching her pale slightly. Since she's been managing all the family finances. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Dad's hand froze, mid-pour. I don't know what you're implying, Susan started, but Emily suddenly stood. I need air, she announced, hurrying toward the kitchen. Megan followed, concern etched on her face. Perfect. I waited 30 seconds, then followed. They were in the garden, Emily crying while Megan attempted damage control. He promised, Emily was saying. He said once the business took off. Emily, please. Megan's voice held an edge of panic. Not here. I stepped into view. Not here or not ever. They spun toward me. Megan's face hardened. This is private. Like the money you've been stealing from the trust fund. Or like Ryan's promises to Emily. I moved closer, watching Megan's composure crack. How many women has he played, Megan? How many more will there be? You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You're not special, Megan. You're just the latest mark in his game. I turned to Emily. Show her the letters. Emily, show her what he promised you. Emily's hand went to her pocket, where I knew she kept Ryan's letters. Megan's eyes followed the movement, realization dawning. Emily? Her voice wavered. But before Emily could respond, Ryan appeared in the doorway. His expression told me he'd heard everything. Inside, he commanded, all of you. Why? I challenged, afraid of what else might come out. He moved with surprising speed, grabbing my arm. I said inside. I yanked free, stumbling back. My wine glass shattered on the patio stones, red spreading like blood. Touch me again, I said quietly, and I'll send copies of your financial records to every investor you've courted. The threat hung in the air between us. Behind him, I could see the others gathering at the window, drawn by the commotion. Ryan's smile was cold. You're bluffing. I pulled out my phone, showing him Marcus Chen's contact information. Watched the color drain from his face. Try me. He stepped back, mask slipping for just a moment. In that instant, I saw what Marcus had warned me about. The dangerous man beneath the charming exterior. This isn't over, he said softly. No, I agreed. It's just beginning. I left them there in the gathering darkness, my heart pounding but my steps steady. The game had changed. Now they knew I had weapons of my own, and I was ready to use them. The anonymous tip came through my work email, screenshots of Ryan's company's internal communications. Their biggest investor was pulling out. Stock prices would plummet the moment the news broke. I forwarded everything to Marcus, then deleted the evidence. My hands shook as I poured my morning coffee, spilling drops across the counter. This was it, the first domino falling. My phone buzzed. Megan. What did you do? Her voice cracked with panic. Ryan's been in meetings all morning. The investors. Funny how karma works, I said. wiping up the coffee stains. Maybe they finally saw through his lies. He says you've been talking to Marcus Chen. Did he tell you what Marcus knows? About the money, about Emily? Silence stretched between us. Then quietly, Dad's having chest pains. The mug slipped from my hand, shattering against the tile. What? The stress of everything. He collapsed this morning. Mom's with him at St. Mary's. I grabbed my keys, already heading for the door. Is he? Don't come. Her voice hardened. You've done enough damage. The line went dead. I stood frozen, keys digging into my palm. My phone buzzed again. A text from Emily. It's bad. Susan's threatening to go public about everything unless you back off. Another buzz. An email from Marcus. Investment withdrawal confirmed. Stock dropping. Ryan's looking for someone to blame. The messages kept coming. A cascade of consequences I'd set in motion. I switched off my phone, but the silence felt worse. Hours later, I sat in my car across from St. Mary's, watching the hospital entrance. Mom emerged briefly, her face drawn and tired. She didn't notice me. Neither did Aunt Susan when she arrived with coffee and sandwiches. They huddled together near the entrance, talking in low voices. A tap on my window made me jump. Emily stood there, looking haunted. I rolled down the window. How is he? Stable, but... She glanced over her shoulder. Ryan's threatening to expose what really happened to James if I don't back his version of events with the investors. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel. What version is that? That you've been sabotaging the company out of jealousy. That you manipulated Marcus Chen with false information. She wrapped her arms around herself. He has documents, Talia, forged ones, but they look real. Let him try. But my voice lacked conviction. You don't understand. If the truth about James comes out... Tears filled her eyes. I can't go to prison. I can't. The pieces clicked together. James's suspicious death, Ryan's hold over Emily, the missing insurance money. How deep did this web of secrets go? My phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. Back off now, or tomorrow's headlines will destroy more than just the company. Ask Emily about October 15th, the date of James's death. Emily saw the message over my shoulder and went pale. He wouldn't he? I studied her face. What really happened that night, Emily? She backed away from the car. I have to go. They'll wonder where I am. Emily, just be careful. Ryan's not who any of us thought he was. She hurried back toward the hospital entrance, nearly colliding with Megan, who was just coming out. Our eyes met across the parking lot. For a moment, I saw something in my sister's face. Fear, recognition. Then her expression hardened, and she turned away. I started the car, my mind racing. Dad in the hospital, Susan's threats, Emily's secrets, Ryan's counter-moves. The revenge I'd planned was spinning out of control, hurting people I never meant to hurt. But I was too far in to stop now. Ryan had to be exposed before he destroyed everyone I cared about, even the ones who'd betrayed me. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Marcus. Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bringing proof of everything. This ends now. I pulled away from the hospital, leaving my family to their vigil. Tomorrow would change everything, for better or worse. The question was, how many more casualties would there be before this war was over? And could I live with being the one who started it? Marcus never showed up for our meeting. Instead, I found Ryan waiting in the coffee shop, wearing the same smug smile from our engagement party. Looking for someone? He slid Marcus's phone across the table. He had a change of heart. My coffee turned to acid in my stomach. What did you do? Nothing compared to what you've done. He leaned forward. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? The leaked documents, the investors, Emily. Where is she? Safe, for now. His smile never wavered. Unlike James was. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. You knew about James's death. I knew everything, Talia. Every secret, every lie, every desperate move Emily made to cover up her mistake. He checked his watch. Speaking of mistakes, the SEC should be receiving some very interesting documents about your involvement in market manipulation right about now. My hands went cold. You're bluffing. Am I? He pulled out his phone, showing me an email thread. Your fingerprints are all over the fake documents Marcus sent to our investors. Of course, he'll deny any involvement now. Amazing what people will do when their families are threatened. The coffee shop walls seem to close in. Our father is in the hospital because of you. No, he's there because his daughter couldn't let go of a man who never wanted her. His voice dropped lower. Did you ever wonder why I chose you first? The responsible one, the trusted one, the perfect cover while I built my empire using your family's money. Movement caught my eye. Through the window, I saw Megan getting out of her car, Aunt Susan beside her. They'd planned this ambush. Face it, Talia, you've lost. Ryan stood. The SEC investigation will destroy your career. Emily's confession about James will devastate your family. And Megan, he smiled that boyish smile I'd once loved. Megan will always choose me. They entered the coffee shop as I sat there paralyzed. Megan's eyes were red, but her voice was steady. The police are questioning Emily now, she said. About James, about everything. She's lying, I managed. Whatever she's saying. We found your notes. Susan cut in. The ones detailing Ryan's finances, your plans for revenge. The investigators are very interested in how you obtained confidential company information. My chest tightened. The notes were in my apartment. They'd been in my apartment. How did you? Mom let us in, Megan said softly. She wanted to talk to you, try one last time to fix things. Instead, she found proof that you've been trying to destroy us. I was trying to expose the truth. The truth, Ryan laughed. The truth is, you're going to prison for securities fraud. Emily's facing charges for James's death, and your family. He gestured to Megan and Susan. They'll finally see you for what you really are. A monster, Megan whispered. Just like you said I was. I stood so quickly, my chair toppled backward. Other customers turned to stare. Everything I did because of what you took from me. We didn't take anything, Ryan said. You gave it away. Your family, your career, your freedom, all sacrificed for revenge. He checked his watch again. The SEC agents should be at your office by now. I'd run, but, well, that would just make things worse, wouldn't it? My phone buzzed. A news alert. The company's stock had plummeted. Another buzz, my boss, demanding I come in immediately. A third, Emily, a single text. I'm sorry, they gave me no choice. Why? I asked Megan. Why help him destroy me? She met my eyes, and for a moment, I saw something there. Regret? Fear? Then it was gone. Because he was right about you, she said. You'd burn everything down just to hurt us, and I couldn't let that happen. They left me there, surrounded by curious onlookers and buzzing phones. Through the window, I watched them drive away. Ryan and Megan in one car, Susan in another. A perfect retreat, perfectly orchestrated. I had thought I was the one setting the trap. Instead, I'd walked right into theirs. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from an unknown number. Check the evening news. Your revenge story is about to become public. Better run while you can. But there was nowhere left to run, and no one left to run to. I'd wanted revenge. Instead, I'd given Ryan exactly what he needed to destroy me. And the worst part, I finally understood why he'd chosen me in the first place. Because I was the only one who could destroy myself so completely. The hospital corridor stretched empty before me, my footsteps echoing against sterile walls. Dad's room number glowed at the end, 342. Through the window, I could see him sleeping, monitors beeping steadily. Mom sat beside his bed, her back to the door. She didn't turn when I entered. I wondered when you'd come, she said quietly. Is he stable? She finally looked at me, her eyes red-rimmed. The SEC investigators were here earlier. They had questions about the family trust. Of course they did. Ryan's final trap, sprung perfectly. Did you tell them? Everything. She stood, smoothing her skirt with trembling hands. About Susan's embezzlement, about James's death, about how you discovered it all. My heart stopped. What? Emily confessed. Mom's voice cracked. Not to the police, to me. About Ryan's manipulation, about James, everything. Movement in the doorway made us both turn. Emily stood there, pale but composed. Show her, she said to Mom. Mom pulled an envelope from her purse. Familiar cream-colored stationery, Ryan's personal letterhead. Read it, Emily urged, before they get here. My hands shook as I unfolded the letter. Ryan's precise handwriting filled the page. Detailed instructions to Susan about moving money, dates matching James's death, Emily's subsequent investment, a paper trail he'd been too arrogant to destroy. He kept copies, Emily said. Insurance, he called it, against all of us. Footsteps approached, multiple sets, purposeful. Through the window, I saw Megan and Ryan striding down the corridor, Susan hurrying behind them. Whatever happens next, Mom whispered, remember who you're really fighting for. They burst in, Ryan first, then Megan, their faces flushed with triumph. The SEC is, Ryan stopped short, seeing the letter in my hands. His mask slipped for just a moment. Looking for this, I held up the paper, or the copies I just emailed to them. You're bluffing. But uncertainty crept into his voice. Like you bluffed Emily. Like you bluffed James before his accident? Megan stepped forward. What is she talking about? Show her, I said to Emily. Show her the rest of his letters. Emily pulled out her phone, hands steady now. He promised to love me first. Then he used James's death to control me. Then he moved on to Megan. That's not, Ryan started, but Megan cut him off. The business expansion, she said slowly. The missing money. It wasn't Talia sabotaging us, was it? Of course it was. Ryan grabbed her arm. She's trying to turn you against me. No. Susan's quiet voice made us all turn. I did it. I took the money. Because you threatened to expose my involvement in James's death if I didn't help you destroy Talia. The monitors beeped steadily. Dad stirred, but didn't wake. It's over, Ryan, I said. The SEC has everything. The real documents, not your forged ones. Emily's testimony, Susan's confession. They'll never believe you. But his eyes darted between us, calculating odds, searching for escape routes. They already do. Mom stood. Because I've been gathering evidence since the day you proposed to my daughter. I just needed you to show your hand first. Ryan lunged for the letter. I stepped back, but Megan moved faster, grabbing his arm, spinning him around. You killed James? Her voice shook. You used me to cover it up. I did it for us. There is no us. She released him like he was poison. There never was. Security appeared in the doorway, summoned by Mom's silent alarm. Beyond them, men in suits approached, SEC investigators, right on schedule. Mr. Thompson, one stepped forward. We need you to come with us. Ryan's composure finally cracked. This isn't over, he snarled at me. Yes, I said quietly. It is. They led him away. Megan followed the investigators, her shoulders straight, never looking back. Susan went with them, already cooperating. Emily touched my arm. I'm sorry for everything. I know. She left too, leaving me with Mom and Dad's steady breathing. You knew? I asked Mom. All along? I knew something wasn't right, but I needed proof. She took my hand. I'm sorry it took so long. Dad's monitors beeped, marking time between heartbeats, between endings and beginnings, between revenge and justice. The courtroom emptied slowly, leaving just the echo of footsteps and whispered conversations. Ryan's sentence had been handed down, 15 years for financial fraud, conspiracy, and involvement in James's death. I remained seated, watching Megan gather her things 3 rows ahead. She turned, finally meeting my eyes. Neither of us spoke as she walked over, sliding into the bench beside me. I signed the divorce papers, she said quietly. I heard. Did you also hear I'm testifying against Susan?" Her hands twisted in her lap. "About the embezzlement." I nodded. The family trust would take years to untangle, but at least the truth was out. "I keep thinking about that night," Megan continued. "The engagement party, how happy you looked right before." She trailed off, then reached into her bag. "I found this in Ryan's study." She handed me a small leather journal. The first page bore a date, 6 months before he'd proposed to me. "It's all there," she said. "Every manipulation, every lie. He planned everything, right down to which sister would be easiest to control first." My fingers traced the familiar handwriting. "Why show me this?" "Because I need you to understand. I wasn't just weak or selfish. I was played. Just like Emily. Just like you." She stood. "But that doesn't make it hurt any less, does it?" "No," I agreed. "It doesn't." She walked away, heels clicking against marble. I watched her go, remembering how we used to share clothes, secrets, dreams. Now we shared only wreckage. The drive home took me past our old house. Dad was there now, recovering slowly. Mom had called yesterday. They were selling the place. Too many memories. I almost missed the figure sitting on my apartment steps, Emily, clutching a manila envelope. "The police found more letters," she said as I approached. "From Ryan to James. Before," she swallowed hard. "I'm turning myself in tomorrow for my part in covering up what happened." "How long? With a plea deal? 2 years, maybe less." She held out the envelope. "But first, there's something you should know about Mom." Inside was a series of emails spanning years. Mom tracking Ryan's business dealings, gathering evidence, protecting her daughters in the only way she knew how, silently, patiently, until the moment was right. "She knew we'd destroy ourselves trying to fight him directly," Emily explained. "So she built a case instead, waited until he revealed his true nature, while we tore each other apart. While we learned the truth about ourselves." Emily stood. "Revenge changes people, Talia. The question is, what do we become after it's over?" I had no answer, not yet. That night, I sat on my balcony with Ryan's journal, and Mom's emails spread before me. The city lights blurred as I read. Years of calculated manipulation, alongside years of quiet resistance. A chess game where we'd all been pawns, even the ones who thought they were players. My phone lit up with a text from Megan. "Dad's asking for you." Then another from Mom. "When you're ready, we'll be here." And finally, one from an unknown number. A photo of Ryan in prison orange. His mask of charm replaced by cold fury. Below it, a message from Marcus Chen. "Some people never change, but some do." I gathered the papers, watching the wind catch a loose page from Ryan's journal. It spiraled down into the darkness, taking his poisonous words with it. Tomorrow, I would visit Dad, maybe talk to Megan about the trust, begin the slow work of rebuilding what could be saved. But tonight, I let myself feel everything. The grief, the anger, the hollow victory of revenge. Let it wash through me like a cleansing fire. I'd wanted justice, and I'd gotten it. I'd wanted revenge, and I'd tasted its bitter fruit. Now I wanted something else, something that couldn't be plotted or planned or avenged. Peace, maybe, or forgiveness, or simply the strength to become someone new among the ashes of who I'd been. The wind picked up, carrying the last traces of Ryan's journal into the night. I didn't try to catch them. Some stories need to end for others to begin.